Today we are going to be making an animated self-portrait GIF, and we'll use the website piscalapp.com. When you go to this website, you can create an account, and then you'll be using the Create Sprite button to get to this page. And this is going to be your work area. On this side, you'll have your tools. My pen tool comes in all different sizes. You can also use a move tool, some shape tracers, and this is your color picker. You can move it around to get any color you like. On this side, you'll see a preview window to see how your piece is animating and preview that. Your layers that we'll work with very quickly. And as you use colors, you're going to be generating a palette here so you can go back to things you've used before. Before we do anything, we want to set up our canvas to make it the shape and size we want. So I'm going to go to Resize and make sure that it's at 100 pixels by 100 pixels. You can set this as your default size so that you can do that when you come back next time. Today, we're going to be working in layers. These layers are going to help us animate individual facial features and edit things without changing the whole face at once. These are going to be organized where layer 1 is the bottom and layer 5 is the top. So our layer 1, we're going to rename that background. And I'm going to hit return or enter to save it. Layer 2, I'm going to name face base. Those are going to be the parts of the face that do not move or animate. Layer 3, I'm going to call eyes. Layer 4, I will call eyebrows. And layer 5, I will call mouth. If you had anything else in this image that you wanted to animate, perhaps rain clouds coming down from the sky or a butterfly flying across the screen, you would hit the plus sign and make a new layer for those things that are animating individually. Let's get started building our animated GIF. I'm going to click on background, and I'm going to start really simply using the paint bucket tool, and I'm going to choose a bright color for the sky, and take my pen tool. I'm going to do a darker green and draw a horizon line. This is very simple and quick for today, but you should take your time when you're making one for yourself to create as much detail or shading as you'd like. Now I'm going to go into my face base layer. When I click between my background and my face base, you'll notice the workable area here gets gray, but it doesn't change here in my preview window. That's just to let you know that the background image you just drew isn't on this new layer. You're working in a new blank layer called Face Base. To make my face, I'm going to highlight the circle tool, and I'm going to choose a color that works for my skin tone. If you go into the oranges, the orange will let you find a range of browns, tans, beige, any color you like, but experiment until you find a tone that works for you. I'm going to take my circle tool, click and drag until it's the shape you'd like. If it's not quite centered or where you want it on the page, click the Move tool and arrange it on your GIF as you'd like it to be. Now I'm going to go into the Rectangle tool, click and drag for the neck, and do the same with the shoulders. I'm going to click and drag until my shoulders are the shape I'd like them to be. I'm going to use my Paint Bucket tool to fill in shapes. Whenever you have a large area that has a full outline, you can use the Paint Bucket tool to make your work go faster. I'm going to take this face color that I used and drag it down just a little bit to create a shadow color. I'm going to make a larger pen size and create a little shadow where the head and neck meet so it doesn't look like one big block of a shape. I can see the shadow between my head and my neck. And I can also create a little shadow for underneath where the nose would be. My nose doesn't move very much, so I think that that's not going to be a part that I animate. So I'm just going to create a small shadow to show where my nose is. I can use that same shadow color to create some ears as well. Just a little highlight of an ear on one side and the other side. Again, when you are taking your time to do your own, go for all the detail you like, but I'm just making a very simple one for you here, and I'm going as fast as I can. I'm going to use a small pen tool, and I think I'm going to create a magenta shirt and draw a neckline for my shirt, like that. And then I can use my paint bucket tool to fill in my shirt nice and quickly. Because I don't think my hair will be animated in this, I'm going to be drawing my hair on my head. And I'm going to make some teal hair as one big solid shape. So when you're drawing hair, think of the whole outline of the shape, and then you can always come back in and add details. So I'm just going to draw the shape of the edge of my hair, how it goes above my head and also over my forehead. And I'm going to use my paint bucket tool again to make my life a little easier. Keep it as simple as possible. When you're animating, you can always fiddle with the details later once you've gotten all your big things planned out. Okay. If I wanted to add any shading to my hair, maybe some highlights, I could use that same color, go in with my pencil tool, give a couple highlights, and a little goes a long way with these kind of details. Now I think I'm ready to start the other parts of my face. My face base is done. I'm going to click on the eye layer. I'm going to go to the circle tool and select white in my color picker. What I'm going to do is click and drag to make an eye shape, and click and drag again to make another eye shape. These eyes feel like they're off to the side, don't they? But it's easy to fix them because the eyes are on their own layer. I'm going to take the hand tool and move them where I want them to be. You can even move them up and down and around. Great. These look fine. I'm going to use my paint bucket tool to fill them in. Now, I think I might just use a very large pen tool to make the pupils of my eyes. And just do that very quickly. You can also use a circle tool. Part of the beauty of working like this is the blocky nature of the artwork, but if you like it more realistic, that is completely up to you. Going to get black and do a pupil in the middle. And that should be good for now. Going to go into my next layer, which is my eyebrows, and I'm going to keep those quite simple. Just drag into a very dark brown and use a medium-sized pen tool and a little arch. Whatever your eyebrow size is, whatever the shape is, just make that. Great. My eyebrows are done. I'm going to go into the mouth, starting with a light brown or a deep red and a thin line. I'm going to make a really simple midline for my mouth. Any expression you like. And this is the trick to finding a lip color that looks a bit more natural. I'm going to click on the skin tone shade that I used before and simply make it a bit pinker. Our lip color is most natural looking when you use a color that's your skin tone, but just plus a little bit of red. Our top lip is always just a tiny bit darker than our bottom lip. So I'm going to make a slightly darker color. You might think, oh my goodness, these lips are very close to the nose when I look at my preview window. So once I have the shape that I want, after adjusting it with a tiny eraser tool, I can take my hand tool and move it around. Look, they can go anywhere you want because they're on their own layer. It's so handy. So I think this is exactly where I want my lips to go. I have all my layers complete, so I'm ready to animate. All right, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to click the eye layer, and before I animate, let me show you how we're going to start it off. If I hit add a new frame, you're going to see that the preview area blinks on and off. That's because it's alternating between something that has an image and something that is blank. So I'm going to delete that. What I'd like you to do instead, since you have all your layers generated and drawn already, is duplicate this frame. You can make as many frames as you like. I recommend duplicating this frame 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, until I have 5 frames here. I'm going to show you how to do a simple winking animation. So I'm going to click the 3rd frame and the circle tool again. I'm going to actually use this color that I used as a shadow color for my skin tone, and I'm going to click and drag right over where my eye is. I'm going to fill it in with that darker skin tone. And you'll see right here, it's starting to wink. If it's going too fast, take that slider and slide it down till it feels right. This is frames per second, and you can make your GIF go as fast or as slow as you like. To give my winking eye a little bit more detail, I'm going to select black and a thin line, and just give a little definition to the edge of my eyelid. And you can see here, it's a little easier to see now. I'm going to animate my mouth next. Since my eyes are animating on the 3rd frame, I'm going to animate my mouth at a different time, so it's not all happening at once. I'm going to use black again, and I'm going to add just a little bit of a dark mark in the middle of the mouth here. And I'm going to do it again on the next slide, but make it just slightly bigger. Do you see how this shape is just a bit wider? And I'm going to use the color that I had for my lips to also show that the mouth is opening just a bit more. You can see that it's gradually opening. On the next slide, maybe I will have my mouth open completely. Oops, if something happens you don't like, Command Z and undo it. I'm going to open my mouth even more and maybe have my tongue stick out. Be extra silly. Okay, and I'm going to pick a slightly different pink just so it doesn't match my lips. I'm going to maybe make it closer to this magenta so it all blends in. Make it a little silly. And then in the middle, I'm going to take that same magenta color and just do a little shading. A little shadow where it's overlapping with the mouth. Okay, and you can see I'm blinking and my tongue is sticking out. Now, I'm going to do a very simple animation on the eyebrows where I use only my move tool. On the first slide, I'm going to move my eyebrows up just a little bit. My second one, I'm going to move them up a little bit more. On my 3rd one, I'm going to do them somewhere in the middle. So they're just gradually raising up and down. That looks like it's good enough for me. If you are finished with all your animating and it looks great and the frames per second is a speed that you like, what you'll be doing is saving it to your public gallery so that you can come back and edit it if you like. I'm going to call this Self Portrait and save to my gallery. That way you can come back again and work on it. If you'd like to export it and share it with others, you're going to click this button. And I'm going to make sure that this slider is set to 500 to make it a little bit bigger than what I've previously worked on, so it's easier to see the details. I'm going to hit download to download an animated GIF that I can put on a website or share with friends as my user icon. It's just really, really fun to see what you will do. I can't wait to see what you make. Please share what you do with me. Bye.